I'm so happy that you're joining me today. Today, we are going to talk about the fastest way to stop a craving. Now, in this video, what I am not going to do is tell you to go drink a glass of water or make sure that there isn't a trace of sugar in your house. You may have tried those things and maybe they were helpful for you, and that's great. But as I was doing some research in preparation for this video, I watched some other videos on cravings, and these kinds of unhelpful tips kept coming up again and again. So instead, what I'm going to do in this video is share with you a really simple 3-step routine that's actually based on the science of your brain and how your brain responds to cravings. And this is a very simple 3-step routine that you can use no matter where you are, no matter what time of day it is, no matter how you're feeling, to help you break the spell of that craving and take back control. So stick with me to the end. This is a short one, but I want to make sure you get all 3 steps in this routine so you can start using it today. Okay, so the first step in this routine is to pause. Now, it's vitally important when we are caught up in a craving that we do something to get ourselves out of autopilot, okay? Now, you know how this goes, right? You're kind of probably just going through your day, you're stressed, you're tired, maybe it's the end of the day, it's evening, or maybe you are, at a restaurant or you're at a family party or something, and you get caught up in things, you're caught up in what's going on, you're caught up in how you're feeling, and you're sort of just in autopilot. And before you know it, the cravings have hit and you are elbow deep in a bag of chips or, halfway through a second helping of pie before you even really realize what's happening, right? So often we just fall into these ruts, these patterns where we're just in autopilot and we're just repeating habits that we've, developed for years. And so the first step in this process, I think the first step in any strategy that is going to help you around cravings is to snap yourself out of autopilot. Okay. And the best way to do that is just stop, just pause, take a breath and be where you are. Okay. Bring yourself back into the present moment, right? We have to break that spell of autopilot. So my favorite way to do this is just stop, take a deep breath, slow, deep breath, and just engage all of your senses. That's the best way to get yourself back into the present moment. So just take a moment. You have that craving, you feel it coming on, you want the chips, you want the candy, whatever it is. Stop, breathe, and engage your senses. So what do you see around you? What can you hear? What can you smell? What do you taste? What can you feel? Just use your senses to get you back into the present moment and get control back in your own hands. Okay, so that is step 1 of this 3-step process for breaking the spell of a craving. Pause. Okay, step 2 in this 3-step process is to notice, okay? So you've already paused and now you've broken the spell of autopilot and you are here, you are present. You still have the craving, so I just want you to notice where it's coming from, okay? Every habit, which is often what our cravings are, has some kind of trigger, all right? And so it's really important that we start to notice our triggers, and you can really just sort of have a little conversation with yourself and just say like, oh, it's nighttime and I'm sitting on the couch in front of my favorite shows, right? This is my trigger. This is why I want this thing. This is why I want to eat this. Or I'm out with this friend, and when we're out together, we always end up binging on junk food, right? So that is my trigger. I'm going to link a video for you here where I talk about the 5 most common triggers for your unhealthy eating habits and cravings. So I really suggest that you watch this video and figure out which are your most common triggers for your unhealthy eating habits. Okay, again, I really distill it down to 5 in this video, and definitely 1 or more of these is acting on you. So make sure you watch this video. So that is step 2, is just to notice where this craving is coming from. Is it because of a way you're feeling? Maybe you're stressed, maybe you're exhausted. Is it because of a time of day, right? Sometimes it's just 3 o'clock and so we crave a little sugar. Maybe it's evening, maybe it's Sunday morning, what is it a time of day? Is it a person? Sometimes we have some people in my community have called them binge buddies. Is there somebody that you're with, your partner or a family member or a best friend or a sister, someone that you're with that's triggering your craving, right? There could be a number of reasons. And so just notice what is triggering this craving. So that's number 2 in our process, notice. All right, and that brings me to number 3 in this 3-step process, and that is to reframe, okay? So one of the biggest problems we get into when it comes to cravings and why we end up just giving into them so often is because we are framing it as, I want this and I shouldn't or can't have it. Okay. And as soon as you think, oh, I want the ice cream, but I can't have it, or I shouldn't have it, or I want the potato chips, but I shouldn't have it, that is a problem when it comes to the way your brain is wired, because your brain does not love deprivation. Okay. And as you well know, and maybe you haven't been familiar with the neuroscience behind it, but you've definitely felt this, that when you want something and you also tell yourself you can't have it, what happens? You just want it more, right? So we have to get out of this habit of framing our cravings as, I want this, but I can't have it, or I shouldn't have it, because all that does is trigger us to want more of it. Okay. And that's exactly the opposite of what we want here, right? So that's why number 3 in our process is to reframe that idea. Okay. So instead of thinking, I want the ice cream, but I shouldn't have it, I want you to play with just reframing that. How about, I want the ice cream. I totally can have it because I am an adult and I can eat whatever I want. But how amazing that I also get this opportunity to be the person I want to be, right? Like, you have a vision in your mind, whether you've sort of taken the time to really solidify it or not, but you have an idea, you have a vision in your mind of the person you want to be. You probably want to be somebody who just naturally makes the healthier choices, right? Who just automatically wants to eat in a way that really fuels and nourishes her body. And you want to be somebody who craves the healthy stuff, who wants that, who sees the junk food and just has no interest in it, right? You have some idea of who you want to be when it comes to your relationship with food. So what if, when the craving hits, you reframe it, again, not as, I want this, but I can't have it, or I want this, but I shouldn't have it, which just makes you want it more. Of course I could have the ice cream, I can have whatever I want, but I have this opportunity to want the ice cream and make a choice, have the joy of getting an opportunity here, right now, to be the person I want to be. Okay, so just to recap, this is my 3-step process, which in my experience is the fastest way out there to stop a craving. Step 1, just pause, okay? Get out of the spell of autopilot. Pause, breathe, engage your 5 senses to be here in the present moment so you're not just mindlessly moving on autopilot, okay? Step 1, pause. Step 2, notice, okay? So you've paused, take a second here to notice where this craving is coming from. Again, as I mentioned, I had another video there that I shared with you where there's really only 5 triggers for most unhealthy patterns around food. So one of those is definitely going to be the trigger for this current craving that you are in. So just notice that, okay? It gives you back some power to realize that it's not some weakness on your part or lack of willpower. There are 5 very clear triggers that are triggering your craving right now. So identify which one it is. Just notice that. Okay, because then you can say, oh, it's because of this that I'm craving this, okay? And that really helps. And then finally, number 3, reframe it. So instead of, I want ice cream, but I shouldn't have it, or I can't have it, which just makes you want more, reframe it as, I want ice cream, but I would actually prefer, it would actually be more of a treat to take this opportunity to actually get to be the person I want to be. How wonderful is that, right? To actually get an opportunity to be the person you want to be right here, right now. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. I know how frustrating it can feel when we feel like we know what we should be doing to stay on track with healthy choices, but we just struggle to do it consistently. You know, cravings and old habits and patterns, they seem to derail us time and time again. So I have a video here that I think you're going to want to watch next, all about this very conundrum and the one big mindset shift that I have seen help so many people go from struggling with going around and around in circles to finally being able to stay consistent and on track with making healthy choices. So I think you're going to want to watch that one next. Okay, so give this a try. Let me know in the comments below what you took away from this video, what really stood out to you, and keep me posted if you put this to work with the next time you have a craving, maybe today, maybe tonight. Let me know how it goes. I can't wait to hear, and I will see you right back here next week.